It's 150 calories. Oh my gosh. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and for today's video, I'm going to be sharing everything that I just got from Aldi that helps me to stay on track with my weight loss and maintenance journey. I'll be sharing all the different foods that I bought, how I incorporate them to stay on track, different recipe ideas, and then I'll also share the WeightWatchers points as well as the nutrition labels I'll pop on the screen. So if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump right in with everything that I got. And we actually got a lot today. We needed a lot of just like staple items. I feel like I haven't been to Aldi in a while and I missed it. That's usually one of my favorite places to go just because it's really quick. We know where everything is, although today we didn't because they moved some stuff around. We actually were talking to someone else who said the exact same thing. She couldn't find a bunch of stuff today. So we did take a little bit longer there, but we got everything that we needed and I'm just gonna be going through it, starting with the produce. So first up, I got some potatoes, which are 0 points on WeightWatchers. I really wanna make some homemade fries just in the oven, and then maybe with the rest of them I'll make some potato soup because I've really been on a soup kick lately. I've been feeling a little bit under the weather and it's just been so cold every day that soup has been so good. The fact that it's 0 points, I can use it to make the soup even more filling. I recently made a 0 point soup in my video where I did like a whole 0 point day and I used potatoes in it, but I used like the Simply potatoes, so maybe I'll do something similar with these. I love that Aldi always has this option to get both types of grapes in one. So it's their perfect pairing grapes. You get green and red in there. And I just like to have grapes after a breakfast or lunch or just with my lunch sometimes. If I make a snack plate, one of my favorite snacks is just grapes and cheese. So I really like to do like string cheese or light Baby Bell, things like that with grapes, and it satisfies my craving for that. But these are 0 points on WeightWatchers. Next up, I grabbed some apples. So somehow I timed it perfectly and I just had my last apple last night after dinner. I have one every single day after I finish my dinner because it helps me to satisfy my sweet tooth right away. I have the apple and then I'll eat my dessert right after, but it makes me a little bit more full, helps me get some extra fiber and nutrients in, and I just enjoy it, honestly. It's gotten to the point where I've tried a bunch of different apples and I've got my favorites. So today I got some of each because they had the Cosmic Crisp bags, but there's only 4 in there. So then the Honey Crisp actually looked really good, so I grabbed a few of those as well. But these are 0 points. I just eat them after dinner. If I don't have them plain, I will cut them up and make them into apple nachos. Or even the other day, I had steel cut oats for dessert. I cut up the apple and cooked it with some cinnamon, and it was such a good topping on it. So sometimes I'll do that, but most of the time I just eat it plain. One of my favorite vegetables to get as a side for dinners, usually with like pasta, or even sometimes if I do burgers or something, but I like to get asparagus. So 0 points on WeightWatchers. And what I'll do is usually just lay it out on a tray, spray it with some non-stick cooking spray. Usually I just use the olive oil one. And then I add some seasonings, maybe some Parmesan cheese, and I roast it in the oven, usually at 400 for maybe like 15 to 20 minutes, just moving it around kind of frequently. And then it makes the perfect side dish. Or sometimes I'll cut it up and cook it on the stove and then mix it with like pasta, have salmon, stuff like that. A lot of options with asparagus. It's something we enjoy every now and then. I like to rotate out the vegetables that we use so that we don't get burned out, and I feel like I haven't gotten asparagus in my past few grocery trips. We got, I think, green beans last time, and then usually I just try to get different green vegetables like that to incorporate. We always need bell peppers for veggie mix and just for different meals. I feel like peppers are one of the easiest vegetables to incorporate. So I got this 3-pack, and then I also got some green bell peppers, which I don't get every time, but specifically today I got some shaved steak, and I love doing green bell peppers sauteed with some onion. I forgot to get some mushrooms, but I do have canned mushrooms, so I could always add that. But I always love that together, so I made sure to grab some green peppers today with the regular ones that I usually get. I grabbed some cilantro because I'm going to make some homemade salsa. So my favorite one to make is just in the blender. You just add the cilantro, some onion, and then canned diced tomato. I also add some jalapeno pepper and then salt, and it just makes a really quick and easy at-home salsa. So that's why I grabbed this cilantro today. For veggie mix, I grabbed some zucchini, and this is another one of those vegetables that also works well as a side dish or mixed in with like pasta, a side with burgers or something like that. But I always just try to incorporate at least one vegetable with a meal. So zucchini is one that's just really easy to incorporate. Their diced pineapple looked good, so I got this container, which is another thing that I have after like my breakfast or lunch or with a snack plate. Sometimes I do use it to add to pizzas if I make homemade pizzas, which maybe I'll do that this week too if I don't eat all this pineapple just plain. Adam wanted some cuties for work, so he just brings brings 1 to 2 of these a day. He packs it with his lunch, and it's something quick and easy that he enjoys as a 0-point snack. We also got some bananas like we do every time. These ones are giant today, but these are gonna be good for protein shakes, for bowls of cereal. Sometimes Adam just brings them plain to work. I actually was craving a PB&J, which I should have gotten jelly. We're out of jelly, and because of it, I ended up just cutting up a banana and having that instead with some peanut butter on the bread that I had. It was really good. So 0 points, and just another fruit that we always get. Also some blueberries, which I like to use for my yogurt bowls. They're 0 points on WeightWatchers. A lot of the time I like to use frozen fruit, but it's nice to have the option between the two. I also like to use these on like pancakes and waffles. And then some red onions, which I still have some yellow onions, so that's why I got the red this time. Again, I just like to have these on hand for veggie mixes or just different meals as I make them. If I make pizzas, I like to add onion to it. If I make salsa, so different meals and recipes like that, it's just nice to have both options. I did get some produce from the freezer section, so that's usually at the end, but I just want to show it really quickly. These are 0 points on WeightWatchers. They are just frozen strawberries that I like to use for my yogurt bowls. So usually I'll take maybe like a cup, which is the serving for 50 calories, and I just pop it in the microwave for a couple minutes till they're nice and soft and heated up, and then I add my yogurt to them with some granola, and it is just so good. It really is indulgent, and I feel like the Aldi strawberries are always my favorite. Then I also got a bag of these, which I get every time too. This is just the steamed mixed vegetables. It's got corn, carrots, peas, and green beans. And I like to use this for ramen soup, fried rice, different recipes like that. It's just a nice option to always have in the freezer. And like I said, I've been making a lot of soup lately, so I've been going through my bags of this and I needed some more. Then I keep going to make my like bean, corn, tomato mix and wanting black beans in it, and I don't have black beans. I keep forgetting to get them from the store. So I finally got some cans of black beans today. These are 0 points on WeightWatchers and a nice high protein and fiber option. So for a half cup serving, it's 0 points, 110 calories. It's got 8 grams of fiber and 7 grams of protein for that serving. So I like to use these for soup, for that vegetable mix, like I said, with the corn and beans. And then sometimes I just need it for different recipes if I'm making like enchilada bakes or something like that. Then really quick, I'll just show the other 2 freezer items I got because I only got 2 other things and then I can put them away. These, I actually saw people talking about them online and how they stock up on them when they come out this time of year. So I had to grab a box to try because I love pretzels. Those are my favorite food. But these are pepper jack filled pretzel bites. So for the serving of 3 of them, it's 5 points on WeightWatchers, which really isn't too bad for like a cheesy appetizer like this. It's 170 calories, 5 grams of fat, 22 carbs, a gram of fiber, 2 grams of sugar, and 7 grams of protein for 3 of them. So we'll probably just cook these in the air fryer or the oven, and it'll be one of the things that we have for an appetizer night, I'm guessing. And then the other freezer item I got, these are their chicken pot stickers, which are some of my favorite. I really like the ones from Aldi and Trader Joe's. Before these, the serving is 6 pieces, and when you scan it, it comes up as 5, but it's 5 for 6 points on WeightWatchers. But anyway, for 6 of them, it's 240 calories, 4.5 grams of fat. It's got 36 carbs, 6 grams of fiber, 3 grams of sugar, and 14 grams of protein. I usually like to just cook them on the stove and then I steam them once they're done cooking, but sometimes I'll also put them in my soup or my ramen and let the broth cook them, and it's so good. But these are the chicken ones. They do have a pork option. I don't know how many points those are though. Moving on to some dairy items that we got today. These are their vanilla Greek yogurts. So I actually didn't see the high protein ones they usually have. Usually they have 2 different options for the vanilla, but I always prefer this one. It's 2 points for the container on WeightWatchers. They have 80 calories, 2 grams of fat, 4 carbs, 2 grams of sugar, and 12 grams of protein. And this is the yogurt that I'll use with the frozen berries. Once I heat them up, I'll just scoop the container out into the bowl and then add some granola as well. These are nice to have as a dessert option. Those yogurt bowls, like I said, are really indulgent. Sometimes I'll also add like peanut butter or even a couple dark chocolate chips, and it really does satisfy my sweet tooth. But it's also nice because they're high in protein. I grabbed some whipped cream, so I feel like sometimes they have a lower fat version, but they didn't today. This is just their regular whipped cream. It's technically a point for the serving of 2 tablespoons and 15 calories, but I just like to have this for my creamy ice cream bowls. Sometimes I'll add it to my yogurt bowls when I do like the banana cream one with some like graham cracker crumbs. That is so good. But I also like to use it on like pancakes and stuff sometimes if I'm going a little over the top. I like their slices of mozzarella. These are 2 points on WeightWatchers, and actually these are gonna be perfect for the shaved steak sandwich sandwiches that I'll be making. So it's 2 points for one slice of this mozzarella cheese, 60 calories, 4 grams of fat. It's got 1 carb and 5 grams of protein for a slice, and they melt nicely. They're actually pretty thick because sometimes I'll get like the thin sliced cheese as a lower point option, but these are just like regular slices for only 2 points. So I've also used them for like quick pizza bakes or even like on an English muffin when I put some tomato sauce and turkey pepperoni, and then a slice of this fits perfectly. And also on tuna melts. I think it was the last time we went to Meijer, I got a big pack of string cheese, and we've actually pretty much gone through them. So I grabbed these. They are light string cheeses, also mozzarella. They're 50 calories for 1 or 2 points on WeightWatchers, 2.5 grams of fat, 1 carb, and 6 grams of protein. And I like to just have these with my snack plates, or sometimes throughout the day I just want a quick snack. Maybe I'll grab some grapes and one of these, or a Mighty Sparks chicken stick with one of these. And it's just been a nice quick option that has a little bit of protein in it, and I really enjoy them. So these are their light string cheeses. I didn't scan the regular ones, but I feel like at Meijer I also got light and they were 2 points. I also got some reduced fat shredded cheese. This is 4 points for the serving of a quarter cup. It's 90 calories, 6 grams of fat, 2 carbs and 7 grams of protein. And this is a cheese that I like to use for a lot of different things. I'll use it with my scrambled eggs. I top tuna melts with it and then just pop them in the air fryer and it gets nice and melty. But I really like cheddar cheese, so it's nice to have the reduced fat option like this, that I can have the normal portion for 4 points on WeightWatchers. I was happy to see that they had the reduced fat feta today. So this is only 1 point for the serving of an ounce. Sometimes they have both of them, and for some reason they were all the reduced fat today, but the past few times I've been wanting to get this, they've only had the regular full fat, which that one's like 3 points for the serving. It's not bad, but I like to be able to use a good amount when I make like tzatziki bowls. So this is 50 calories, 1.5 grams of fat. It's got 2 carbs, 1 gram of sugar, and 6 grams of protein in that serving. And I also really like to use feta on top of different like flatbreads. Sometimes I'll do some hummus, or even I've mentioned my favorite potbelly sandwich was the Mediterranean, which had hummus, roasted red peppers, artichokes, cucumbers, and feta cheese. And I need to remake those. I need to make a video about them. So maybe I'll do that soon. We got some of this queso dip, and this is what I really like to top my chicken veggie burritos with, or I like to use it to make a nice big plate of nachos. For the serving of 2 tablespoons, it's 2 points on WeightWatchers. So this is one of the higher point options. Sometimes I can find one that's 1 point for the serving, but it's still nice because I enjoy it in moderation anyway. But 2 tablespoons for 2 points, 45 calories, 3 grams of fat, and then it's got 3 carbs. So usually what I'll do is heat it up and drizzle it on top of the burritos that I mentioned. That's like one of my all-time favorite meals. And I just finished up our last jar of it, so I needed to grab some more. Okay, this is something that Adam picked out because he loves his buffalo chicken dips, and this was a new one, although I have to say it looks like it's like half filled. It looks like it's like empty in there. But it's a buffalo style chicken dip. It's the Aldi brand, Park Street Deli. For the serving of 2 tablespoons, it's 3 points on WeightWatchers. 80 calories, 7 grams of fat, 2 carbs, and 4 grams of protein. I feel like it's gonna be really similar to the one that he likes from Sam's Club. It looks kind of the same, and it's more of like a thick looking dip, but we'll have to try this out and see how it is. He's always looking to try new buffalo dips. And what he likes to do with it is he'll take a low carb tortilla, spread like 2 tablespoons of the dip on there, and then add some chicken, maybe some veggie mix, and make a nice filling wrap out of it while just using this in moderation. Next up, some proteins that I grabbed today. So this is always a nice option at Aldi. They've got this rotisserie seasoned pulled chicken breast. It is 110 calories for the serving of 3 ounces, and that serving has 3 grams of fat, 1 carb, and 18 grams of protein. And usually I'll just make this entire thing into a big batch of chicken salad, and I'll just add some Greek yogurt, which is 0 points, maybe a little bit of light mayo for that flavor, and then I chop up an onion, a bell pepper, and then usually I don't even need to add seasoning because this is nice and seasoned, and it makes a quick and easy chicken salad that Adam can pack for lunch. We like to put it on flatbreads or just have it with a snack plate with some crackers. So it's a nice filling option. It's got 18 grams of protein for the serving. I got this big thing of ground beef. This is about 2.5 pounds. It's 90% lean, and for the serving of 4 ounces, it is 0 points on WeightWatchers, 190 calories, 11 grams of fat, and it's got 22 grams of protein. And my plan for this is just to make it into taco meat. I feel like the past couple times I've made taco meat, it's been with like ground chicken or ground turkey, so we'll do beef this time. And then when I have the meat prepped in the fridge, I can use it for a bunch of different meals, whether it's nachos, wraps, quesadillas, tacos, any of those things. It's just nice to have it prepped and ready. I got some turkey pepperoni, which is what I use to make different pizza recipes, usually 2-ingredient dough pizzas. It's 70 calories for the serving of 16 slices and 2 points on WeightWatchers, 3.5 grams of fat and 10 grams of protein in that serving. Sometimes I'll just use a 1-point serving because I'll add other toppings to the pizza, but this is just always what I prefer when it comes to pepperoni. And I feel like we've tried this brand, like the Aldi one, and it's just as good. Adam needed some lunch meat for his lunches, so he just got the oven roasted turkey breast, which is 0 points on WeightWatchers. It comes with 2 individual packs in there. So for the serving of 2 ounces, it's 60 calories, 2 grams of fat, and 9 grams of protein. And he pretty much just makes sandwiches or wraps and then adds the turkey, some lettuce, and mustard, and that's just his go-to. I got some center cut bacon, which is 2 points for 2 slices on WeightWatchers, 50 calories, 4 grams of fat, and 5 grams of protein in that serving. And I'll just take a tray and bake it all at once, and then I'll have it prepped and ready in the fridge. I just keep it in an airtight container. That way it's cooked and I can add it to sandwiches or wraps. Or sometimes in the morning I just want some eggs and bacon. I'll scramble up 3 eggs and then I have the bacon ready. Sometimes I'll even add some like veggie mix and stuff. And now you guys have gotten me onto adding cottage cheese to it as well, but it's really nice to have the bacon ready in the fridge. I just grabbed some eggs for breakfast like I just mentioned. Sometimes I just want scrambled eggs. I've also really been enjoying hard-boiled eggs lately, so I've been prepping like 6 at a time and then I can use them for breakfast or for lunch. It's actually been making me crave salads because I really like hard-boiled egg in my salad, so I've done that a couple times and it's been really good. Then like I mentioned earlier, I got some beef shaved steak. This is 3 points for the serving of 4 ounces on WeightWatchers. It's 200 calories, 12 grams of fat, and it's got 22 grams of protein. This isn't something that we get all the time, but every now and then it's really, really good. And usually I just heat it up on the stove with some seasoned salt, and then I'll have some cooked up pepper and onion, and I'll add that with some mozzarella cheese. And actually I like to get buns for it, but I didn't like the buns that they had today, so I got us some ciabatta rolls, which I'll show in a second, but I think that'll be really good with this beef shaved steak. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing with this, but I got 3 pounds of ground chicken. I feel like we've been going through ground meat much faster, but it's just because I've been taking a little bit of bigger portions, trying to pack my meals with a little more protein. So this is lean ground chicken. It's 0 points on WeightWatchers. And for the serving of 4 ounces, it's got 150 calories, 8 grams of fat, and 20 grams of protein. So it's a nice high protein option that is easy to add to a bunch of different meals. What I've actually been doing is cooking it normal and adding maybe some like garlic seasoning or something kind of generic that goes with different meals. And then I keep it in the fridge in a container. And then when I want to use it for a meal, I might add some different seasoning to it. So I can add like buffalo seasoning or taco seasoning if I want to do something like that. But I've been able to just use the meat for a bunch of different recipes, and it's nice to just have it pre-cooked. Okay, like I said, those ciabatta rolls that I got, so these are 6 points for 1 on WeightWatchers, which I feel like isn't bad for a ciabatta roll this size. They're 210 calories, 1 gram of fat, 43 carbs, 3 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, and 8 grams of protein. And I think that these will go really well with that shaved steak, the peppers, and cheese. Otherwise, I like to use ciabattas for just like turkey sandwiches. Most of the time, the things that I'm adding to the sandwich are 0 points. It's like tomato, lettuce, turkey. Sometimes I add cheese, which adds points, but even my mustard that I like to use is 0. So I'm usually able to manage and incorporate a 6-point bread like this. I don't think we've tried this one before, but this is the Aldi protein bread. So for 2 slices, it's 3 points on WeightWatchers, and it's actually got a lot of like seeds on the sides. I'm excited to see how this is. It feels like kind of soft and dense. I don't know. It's 150 calories though for 2 slices, 7 grams of fat, 10 carbs, 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, and 14 grams of protein. So that's nice that it's higher in protein. I will probably use this for some breakfast sandwiches or toast. Also making it with some turkey would be a good option. And then sometimes when I crave a PB&J, I like to use bread like this that isn't too high in points. And especially if it's got extra protein, that's nice. So I'm excited to try this one. I also got some of our favorite tortillas tortillas. These are the El Milagro corn tortillas. You can have 2 of them for 3 points on Weight Watchers or 1 for 1 point. For 2 of them, it's 100 calories, 1.5 grams of fat, 21 carbs, 2 grams of fiber, and 3 grams of protein. And I like to use these for tacos, quesadillas, and more recently I've been using them to make chips in the oven, and they are so good. I like to add some salt and just use some olive oil spray. I actually just recently showed how I made them in my Super Bowl appetizer video, but these are the tortillas I like to use for that. Okay, really quick, a couple drinks that I got. So they've got these versions of like the sparkling ice caffeine drinks, but they're sparkling frost. And they've got 3 flavors available. So blue raspberry, black raspberry, and then strawberry citrus. They're 0 points on Weight Watchers, 5 calories, and they do have 70 milligrams of caffeine, which is what I like about them. I feel like it's like the perfect amount. They have good flavors, so they satisfy my craving for a drink that has flavor. When I'm drinking a lot of water throughout the day, sometimes I still crave those things. I've really been enjoying these, and they're cheaper than the other ones that I like to get. They just don't have all the flavors, but it is a nice option if you're looking for a caffeinated drink that has carbonation. Adam got his favorite cold brew coffee. He likes to have for 0 points on Weight Watchers. Sometimes he'll add some sweetener, like some no sugar added syrups, or we have creamer actually right now, so he'll add a splash of that or mix like a protein shake with it. But it's 0 points and 15 calories for 12 ounces. Then we got some chocolate milk, which I love to use this for creamies. It is lactose free. It's 6 points for the serving of a cup, 140 calories, 5 grams of fat, 13 carbs, 12 grams of sugar, and 14 grams of protein. And usually Adam and I just split the creamies, so really it's only like a 3-point serving that we use of the chocolate milk, but I like to mix in some protein powder and maybe some sweetener or powdered peanut butter. And this is just such a nice option because it's already kind of sweet, but it blends perfectly and it's nice and creamy as an ice cream. Another option that I actually like for creamies, and then Adam started using this as like cereal milk, and it's been really good. These are the Elevation, meant to be like Fairlife copycats, but the vanilla and chocolate protein shakes. So they're 3 points for 1 on Weight Watchers. For the vanilla, it's 150 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 3 carbs, 2 grams of sugar, and 30 grams of protein. And then for the chocolate, it's 160 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 4 carbs, 2 grams of sugar, and 30 grams of protein. So these I've actually been using to make creamy ice creams. And then, like I said, these have been really good. Even in my protein coffee, I tried one with the cold brew concentrate I like, and it's really good. It has, I think, better flavor than the actual vanilla Fairlifes. I was happy to see they had both flavors this time. We got one of each. Then this was something that I think it was on sale, but it was like with the stuff that is, I think, going out of season. This is a whey protein blend, and it's oatmeal cookie flavor. So it's also Elevation brand. For the scoop, it is 3 points on Weight Watchers, 180 calories, 3 grams of fat, 2 grams of sugar, 6 carbs, and 30 grams of protein. I feel like usually protein powder is like 20 grams for the scoop, which is why I was fine with it being 3 points for 30 grams of protein. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this in a protein shake. I actually feel like this will be good with banana, which is what I usually like to use, with some fat-free milk and ice. This will be 3 points, and I'm excited to see how it actually is. Then some pantry items that I grabbed today. So I knew we needed some syrup, which we don't use that often, but every now and then with like pancakes or waffles, it's nice to have. And this is their light syrup, which is 4 points for 2 tablespoons on Weight Watchers. So usually I'll just use a 1 tablespoon serving, and then I like to add like berries and chicken sausage so that it adds some more flavor to those things. But anyway, for 2 tablespoons, it's 50 calories, and it's got 12 carbs and 12 grams of sugar. So like I said, something that we use in moderation, and I just like that they have the light option. So grabbed more of that. We also just needed some more olive oil, so I grabbed a container of olive oil. I just like to use that sometimes for cooking vegetables or if I'm roasting things in the oven. Also, if I do marinades, sometimes I'll add a splash of olive oil to them. We needed some mustard, so this one is supposed to be like a copycat of the Coops mustard that I really like. It's like the Arizona Heat one. It's 10 calories for the serving and 0 points on Weight Watchers for the teaspoon. And usually that's all I like to add because I don't want it to be too spicy, but it has really good flavor. And then Adam wanted some spicy brown mustard for his sandwiches, which is 5 calories for the teaspoon and also 0 points. I needed some broth because I've been making a lot of soups. So I just got the regular chicken and beef broth for the base of a lot of different soups that I'll make. It's 0 points on Weight Watchers and 5 calories. The beef broth is 10 calories and it's got 2 grams of protein. This doesn't have any protein, but I did grab some chicken bone broth, which is a little bit different with the taste, but it has 9 grams of protein in the serving of a cup. It's got 40 calories, 1 carb, and 1 gram of sugar. So I just grabbed both to have each option, and I'll decide depending on what soup I'm making, but that's pretty much what I use those broths for. Last time we went to Aldi, we got their protein penne pasta to try out, and it's really good. It's honestly very similar to the Barilla Protein Plus pasta, and it's the same when it comes to points. So I got some rotini and some penne again today. For the serving of each of them, it's 190 calories, 1 gram of fat, 38 carbs, 5 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, and 10 grams of protein. It's got some extra fiber and protein in it, and I just make pasta a lot, so it's nice to have some different higher protein options that are pretty low in points. It's 4 points for the serving, and usually I will go an ounce higher and do a 6-point serving, because when I make pasta dishes, I like to make that just like the entire meal, and then I add the protein and vegetable and stuff to it. These are a really good option. I need to compare the actual prices. I also got a box of this buttermilk protein pancake mix, very similar to Kodiak, but again, cheaper price. It is 5 points for the serving, which is a half cup dry mix and about 3 pancakes. It's 220 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 36 carbs, 6 grams of fiber, 4 grams of sugar, and 15 grams of protein. I use this to make pancakes, pancake bites, and waffles, and sometimes I'll add in some extra things. You can just make it using water and the mix, but I like to add egg and sweetener and cinnamon and different things like that to add some flavor to it. And you'll see me use this a lot in my Sunday reset videos because I like to ingredient prep it and just make the whole box at once. Okay, the last few things that I grabbed, so some snacks. This was new, and I'm guessing it's going to be exactly like my favorite snack from Trader Joe's, but it's their lentil loops, sour cream and onion baked lentil snacks, and that's exactly what I like to get. I was thinking it was a different flavor, but the one I get from Trader Joe's is also sour cream and onion, and they're my favorite. I've actually been using them as a crouton in salads, and it's been really good. But for the serving of about 22 pieces, it is 3 points on WeightWatchers, 130 calories, 6 grams of fat. It's got 2 grams of fiber, 16 carbs, a gram of sugar, and 4 grams of protein. So I'm excited to see how those are and if they're pretty much the same. They are also gluten-free. Then this is one of my favorite items from Aldi specifically. It is their pub style pretzels. For the serving of about 15 pretzels, it is 3 points on WeightWatchers, 120 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 20 carbs, 2 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, and 3 grams of protein. And one of my favorite things to do with these pretzels is to add them to snack mixes because they're super flavorful. So mixed with the Air Pop popcorn, you really don't even need that many of them. And it's just a nice flavorful snack. Okay, the last thing that we got, maybe we'll save this for a snack review, but these are birthday cake mini cookies, and actually Adam saw these and he thought I would like them because I love everything birthday cake flavored. These are like very allergen friendly. They're top 9 allergen free, gluten free, certified vegan, and for the serving of a pouch, it is 3 points on WeightWatchers, 80 calories, 4 grams of fat, 11 carbs, 5 grams of sugar, and 1 gram of protein for the bag. So I'm excited to see how those are. That might be a nice sweet treat after I have like my apple, or it might be good as a topping on like my yogurt bowls or like creamy ice creams. But that wraps up everything that we got today. It was a big trip to Aldi. I feel like usually that's our quickest trip and we only use a few bags. And today we used all the bags that we brought and just really stocked up on some stuff that we needed. It always feels nice to do that. I will have the prices and me shopping through the store so you can see where I grabbed everything after I finish this video, so stick around for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.